Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. So today it's time for my June Snakes and Ladders TBR video. If you don't know what they are, I'll link the playlist down below. It's basically a fun little game I play to pick my TBR. So last month I read all but 2 of the prompts. I did not read, I think I got worst rated anthology and best rated horror, something like that. I didn't read either of those books. So I will be doing 8 throws this month. Normally I do 6 and I add on my failed throws. I'm also taking part in the Queer Lit Readathon and also the Feel Goodathon. I will link both their Twitters down below, so I'm hoping for some books that will fit in with that, but as we know, it's usually not that kind to me, so we shall see. I'll probably end up doing another video with those readathons. So without any further ado, let's start playing. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 19, yellow, which is goals, and we have non-fiction. So the first roll was non-fiction, and I've decided to pick Gender Explorers by Juno, Roche. This is an arc I have. This is also a queer book, which fits with June and the whole month of the gay. This is about, it's a bunch of non-fiction stories about trans people and their stories and kind of their perspectives on the world, that kind of thing. I think it sounds really interesting. My partner is trans. I've been trying to read more about it to kind of better understand the stuff they're going through at the moment. And this is the perfect opportunity to explore some of that. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goals again. Another yellow. Top 5 horror. So the next prompt was top 5 horror. This is a list I made at the start of the year of 5 horror books I want to read in 2020. I have selected Into the Drowning Deep by Mira. This is a horror book about sea creatures, I think mermaids specifically, but the blurb doesn't mention mermaids, so I'm not too sure. And basically there was a voyage, a ship went and made a documentary slash mockumentary about these sea creatures, and years later they're basically recreating that voyage with some people who have some things to prove. So I think there's like a scientist who was on the original voyage who wants to prove that they were telling the truth. There's some people who are convinced it's a hoax, that kind of thing. I think this has some queer rep in it, but I can't find that for certain. I'm pretty sure there is something in this, so that kind of fits with the queer lit thing. But I'm massively into mermaids at the moment. I mean, just generally, I'm massively into mermaids. And if I can read a cool horror book about them, then that's sorted. 1. Go on to this. A lovely snake, which is pink. So first we have a genre prompt, and we have worst rated anthology. Fantastic. And then we slide down this bad boy to another pink, and we get a haunted house. I'll go on my anthology shelf. It's sorted by average rating, ascending. So the worst rated one is this. Whodunit? Okay, I guess that's what I'm reading. So I got hit with that A Lovely Snake. The first prompt was worst rated anthology, which as you saw was Whodunit. Does it say conducted by John I can't say that surname. There is the surname. This is a book with a lot of, I guess, short stories slash pieces of writing. It's basically, the premise is that a really nasty book editor slash publicist slash book person has been murdered, and all these authors have to provide their alibis. So there's literally hundreds and hundreds of authors who've written a little piece for this. I don't know if the writing is themselves or if they've created characters, but the idea is that you like solve the murder mystery. The reviews for this suggest that it's not actually that easy to solve the murder mystery, and not in a good way, and that there's way too many stories. So I will give this a try. I don't know if I'll read the whole thing, maybe I'll just read the ones by the authors I know. I mean, there's a lot of recognisable names on there, you can see that. But I think it sounds cool anyway, it's a cool idea, and the money went to charity, so that's always good. The next prompt was Haunted House, and clearly I'm doomed to read a lot of horror, even though it's sunny and the world's a bit shit, so I kind of want to read nicer things, but whatever. Haunted House is fine, I love a good haunted house, and I've picked The Folcroft Ghosts by Darcy Coates. Darcy Coates is one of my favourite horror authors. She's actually really underrated. A lot of her stuff is either on Kindle Unlimited or it's super cheap on Amazon. And I've read a couple of stuff by her. She did a really great short story collection, which I have forgotten the name of, maybe Little Horrors, Small Horrors, something like that, which is super short horror stories, but they're great. And I'm really excited to see her take on the haunted house premise. I can't quite remember specifically what happens with regards to this haunted house. I think it's like some people move in with their grandparents, or there's something to do with grandparents that I remember, but it's a haunted house, that's all you need to know. And I think I'll love this based off her writing and the fact it's one of my favourite tropes. One, we're going to go down another snake then. Random. And ask a co-worker. So the next prompt was to ask a co-worker, which was obviously designed back when I was working in the office and not at home on my own. However, I'm good friends with my co-workers, my fellow PhD students, so my Goodreads TBR is 1,250 books, and I didn't think it was fair to make them go through all of those books to suggest one for me, so I gave them two options. I said they could give me a book at random, and chances are it's on my TBR, or I basically gave them the images, like the cover images, of a bunch of books that I have on NetGalley that are either June releases or May releases. And I said you can pick one of those. If you want to know any of the premises, I'll tell you more about them. They both picked A Cosmology of Monsters by Shaun Hamill. So this actually came out in last year, I believe, around October time. But this version is being released now, and I got an ARC on NetGalley, and first of all, this cover is amazing. I love it so much more than the other cover. So this is about a family. It's a literary horror book, and it's about a family that run a haunted house together, and they're all kind of horror writers slash interested in horror from a kind of creative standpoint. And it says that it discusses like the metaphorical and also the real monsters, so I think there's a lot of issues plaguing the family, and I think there's also some kind of malevolent presence in the house, presumably this badass looking wolf thing. It's caught my attention because A, it's haunted house, B, it's got a lot of cool stuff going on in it, and I just think I'm gonna love this, and I really, really hope I do. 3, 1, 2, 3, challenge. It's dark blue. Non-fiction book. So I got another non-fiction prompt, so clearly all my whining about not reading enough non-fiction has decided to make the board give me all of the non-fiction. I'm not sure how much non-fiction I'm in the mood for anyway this month, and I have some that I want to read for like other purposes. So I picked The Curious History of the Riddle, which is another ARC I have. It's one I can only read on my computer, which is why it's taken me a while. But this is a non-fiction book about the history of riddles. I love riddles, I'm obsessed with riddles. A, the Riddler is my favourite Batman villain ever. B, I had a really cool dragon book when I was younger, which had a whole section about how dragons love riddles, and that kind of got me into the whole riddle thing. And yeah, this basically provides a bunch of examples of riddles. I've already started it. Like I said, it's taken me a long time because I can only read it on my computer and I don't like doing that. But I think it's a really good one to kind of pad out this month and kind of read when I can in little bits, and it shouldn't take me too long. It's not super long. Another 3. 1, 2, 3. Another genre pink pick, and top rated thriller. So I'm on my thriller shelf. Gonna scroll down. Currently sorted date read. Let's go to average rating. Dark House. I don't have that one with me. Secrets of the Dead. Let's see. There we go, Secrets of the Dead by Wyer. So the next prompt was top rated thriller, and as you saw, the winner was Secrets of the Dead by Wyer. I'm gonna have to change up this prompt, I think, because all of the top rated thrillers on my TBR are serial killer thrillers, like detective police procedural thrillers. I'm not really into those. Gonna be honest with you, this is probably the book I'm least likely to complete this month, purely because I'm not sure I'm in the mood for a police procedural. Wyer is a fantastic author, which is why this is on my TBR. I've read several stuff by her and I've really, really liked it, even police procedurals. So I will try it if I get around to it, but yeah, I'm not super excited to read this, to be honest with you. It does sound cool, there's like a serial killer and a woman dead in a bathtub and all that kind of stuff, but it might not be the right month for this. Another 3. 1, 2, 3. Yellow. Goals. Queer rep. Perfect for Juno. I did it! I got queer rep in the queer month! Yay! Okay, so for this I'm actually going to pick a book that I forgot to talk about in my new releases video because I don't know why. I'm very excited for this book. It is out now. Edited by Saundra Mitchell? Yeah, Saundra Mitchell, sorry. I have an arc of this, which I'm super hyped for, and this is a book about it's a short story collection. You might have remember All Out, which was edited by the same author, and they were historical queer stories. I bought that book but never got around to reading it in a shocking twist of events. And this is modern day queer stories by a bunch of authors. I can see from the names around the edge that some of them are queer authors, which is cool. Maybe they're all queer authors. But yeah, it looks beautiful, sunny, lots of short stories. It will hopefully hit a lot of the challenges for Queer Lit Readathon, because I'm hoping for a lot of variety in these stories, which would be nice. And yeah, I'm very excited for this one. 2, just dodging that snake. 1, 2, challenge. Newest purchase. Ooh, and because I'm at the top, I think I'm going to buy myself a new book. And the final prompt for the month is newest purchase. I think I said in the footage that I was going to buy a book. I didn't do that. I actually bought some books for my friends because I looked through my wish list and there's a lot of books I wanted, but I couldn't really justify buying any of them right now. So I just kind of thought I'd do that instead. But the book I bought an ebook, and it turns out I am reading a lot of horror this month because it was The Deep by Alma Katsu. Yeah, Alma Katsu. This is a horror book about the Titanic, which is such a cool premise already. This is about specifically a nurse who I think was on the original Titanic voyage, and it is several years later and she's working on the sister ship, which is a hospital ship. She's obviously plagued with a lot of trauma from that experience, and then this soldier washes aboard her ship or is injured and ends up on her ship, who was a soldier who was on the Titanic, and she's convinced he couldn't have survived, and she thinks it's like horror type grisly ghostly thing. Sounds like it's going to explore a lot of themes about trauma and that kind of thing, and hopefully be really spooky as well. So yeah, that is my Snakes and Ladders TBR for this month. I did not get the queer... Well, I got some of the queer books I wanted. I didn't get all the queer books I wanted, and I didn't get the fluffy contemporaries that I wanted. Turns out I'm reading a lot of horror in this lovely sunny period of time, but whatever, I do love horror. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, it helps me out massively. If you do want to buddy read any of these, let me know. I'm kind of looking for buddy reads at the moment, and it would be nice to kind of explore more of those, or just generally if you want to buddy read soon, I'd be up for that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.